updates on what's obviously a very tragic situation, and we continue to pray for all of the families involved. This has been a very painful episode for the people of East Harlem. There's still a lot of unknowns here, and that only adds to the difficulty for people. So we'll talk about the information we have. We'll make clear throughout this briefing there are still things we don't know. There's still people missing. There's still information we need, but we'll give you everything we can right now. I want to say at the outset, the response by the fire department and all of the other agencies involved has been extraordinary. I hope the people of East Harlem and the families and all of the people affected take some solace in the fact that every effort has been expended to address this crisis and to search for their loved ones. I want to thank those who are with me today: Fire Commissioner Sal Pisano, OEM Commissioner Joe Bruno, Police Commissioner Bill Bratton, our Acting Buildings Commissioner Tom Ferriello, the Health Department Assistant Commissioner Tom Mate, from the Department of Environmental Protection Deputy Commissioner James Roberts, from Con Edison CEO John McAvoy, and then two of my colleagues in public office, of course, the Speaker of the City Council, Melissa Mark-Viverito, who represents the area that was affected, who lives just blocks away, whose district office is literally around the corner, and has taken an exemplary role and lead in providing help to people who have been affected. Her office has become a staging area and a place where people have been going for help. I know her constituents deeply appreciate all she has done. I also want to thank Assemblyman Robert Rodriguez, who represents the area as well, and has been both a good friend and has been actively trying to help all of the affected people. Let's give you the latest on what is obviously a fatal explosion, serious loss of life, and building collapse in East Harlem. It's been, like I said, a painful 26 hours now. Everyone involved in the rescue effort has given their all. I was up today meeting with some of the first responders. They've been fighting through the cold, they've been fighting through the wind, exceedingly difficult circumstances, and they have stuck with it. As you know, the wreckage is still smoldering. At various points the fire got whipped up a little bit again by the wind. And despite all that, our first responders from the FDNY, from EMS, from NYPD, all of the agencies involved continue to do what they do so consistently. No matter what is thrown at them, they keep fighting. And they've done an exemplary job. This city is no stranger to adversity, and our first responders exemplify what's best about New York City, that we somehow persevere despite everything thrown at us. And their training, their professionalism came out so clearly in this last 26 hours, and we're all entirely grateful for that. Now, rescue operations have continued. As we know, there's been confirmed additional loss of life, but we are continuing rescue operations, hoping to find others still alive. And let me caution to everyone here, everyone watching at home, that these rescue operations will continue for an open-ended period of time. There will be disruption in the immediate area because we have to continue this rescue operation. We're very devoted to it. At the same time, the investigation is underway, understand exactly what happened here. These operations will continue for days as we continue to both do the rescue and learn all we can learn. And we will give updates as we learn more. But here's what we know right now. Tragically, there are 7 people now confirmed dead. The identities of 2 of the victims have been released. They are Rizelde Camacho and Carmen Tanco. The identities of the others have not yet been released pending family notification. Approximately 40 people have been treated and transported by EMS to nearby hospitals, including Harlem Hospital, Metropolitan, Mount Sinai, and St. Luke's. Among our first responders, thank God there have been no injuries. In terms of those still not located, either missing or not yet located, not yet identified, anyone who's trying to find a family member or a loved one who might have been in the immediate area of the explosion yesterday can call 311 and ask for the Unified Victim Identification System. Call 311 and ask for the Unified Victim Identification System. We've had about 200 calls so far. Anyone outside New York City searching for a loved one can call 212-639-9675. Again, 212-639-9675. These family members, loved ones, neighbors are still waiting anxiously. Let's keep them in our thoughts and prayers. Turn to the rescue and recovery operations and the ongoing investigation. Investigation in this incident is being conducted jointly by the Fire Department's Bureau of Fire Investigations, meaning the fire marshals, and the Police Department's Arson and Explosives Unit. They're now working in collaboration with the National Transportation Safety Board. Because there are still hot spots in the wreckage smoldering, there still is some fire present. Fire operations also continue. Firefighting operations also continue. And the search and rescue operation, obviously, which began after the incident, has continued. A lot of people have been displaced, a lot of surrounding buildings affected. We vacated 89 residential units and 3 businesses and 7 surrounding buildings due to the ongoing fire operations and because gas and heat are not operating for those buildings. Now, none of these vacate orders, and this is important, none of these vacate orders were issued due to any structural problem in the other buildings. They've been inspected and determined to be sound. At this moment, 66 people, including 14 families with children, are receiving temporary shelter at the Salvation Army Community Corps Center, located at 175 East 125th Street. Office of Emergency Management is opening a resident service center at noon today at that same location, 175 East 125th Street. And so the resident service center and the overnight shelter will be co-located. There'll be a variety of city agencies there and community-based agencies there to help people. We hope to create one stop where people affected by the explosion can go for help. I want to emphasize, I know this is something Speaker Mark Federico cares deeply about as well. Anyone affected by this tragedy will be helped. Anyone, regardless of immigration status. And it's very important to get that message out. I ask all of you to help spread that word clearly to people, regardless of immigration status. Anyone affected can come forward for help. They should not be afraid. We intend to help everyone. In terms of the Buildings Department, yesterday, as I said, Buildings Department completed a structural assessment of surrounding buildings, determined them to be structurally stable and not in danger of collapse. The vacate orders, again, issued to support the firefighting and rescue efforts and because of the absence of other services. The Buildings Department also in the process of inspecting the cellars of buildings in the surrounding block for any signs of flooding due to the water main